This kind of shows you the additional chaos that's happening in an ADHD person's world when they are just trying to live their lives. I did not make anything up. I did not exaggerate anything. This is exactly how it went, and it's not unusual for me. It's a pretty normal way of doing things for me. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Janine Van Stee, ADHD Life Coach. That's me. I'm Janine Van Stee. So I've decided that I want to share the process that I have to go through to figure out what time I have to be somewhere and what time I have to leave. I just want to demonstrate how my ADHD brain works, and I thought maybe it would be relatable if somebody else does the same thing. So this is a little off my usual, but so I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I have to figure out how to be to my quilting meeting. Yes, I have a quilting meeting. It's called Girl Gang, and we love it, at 6 o'clock. Now, it's 3:15. I also accidentally forgot, with my ADHD brain, to put in my travel time for that, which is about a half an hour, which normally would not be a big problem except for the fact that I have a client who slotted her appointment at 5 o'clock, which means that I have a 45-minute appointment and 15 minutes to get to my next destination, and that's 30 minutes away. So obviously this is a problem. Not to mention the fact that I have a 4:30 appointment with somebody else that's supposed to be 15 minutes long. So that's a 15-minute appointment with 15 minutes in between before I start with my client at 5. Then I have a 45-minute appointment with the client, and then I have 15 minutes to get someplace that I'm supposed to have 30 minutes to travel. This is because of poor planning on my part, because I forgot to put that slot in there. I'm not perfect. I do these strategies and they work a lot of the time. But sometimes, like today, something didn't work. And really what didn't work is I forgot that one step that I always should put is my travel time. So, as you can see, I'm kind of in a state. Well, I've decided that I need to go to the location of the meeting or to a park nearby and do my virtual meetings from a park in my car. My first meeting would be at 4:30. I have a half an hour to get there, so now I have to go back to 4. So I have to leave by 4 o'clock. So 10 to 4, so I'm good and prepared, and I want to be clear of mind when I meet with people. So I have just lost the time. Oh, 10 to 4. All right. So and you just saw that happen where it went away for just a second. So that means that if I'm leaving at 10 to 4, that's 3:50. It's now, I've taken about 5 minutes to figure this out, and it's now 3:20. So I have about a half an hour before I have to leave. Can anybody relate to this? Because this is what ADHD really looks like. And strategies help. So, and usually they work, but sometimes they don't. Alright, time for an update. Since I'm driving, I'm not going to look at you, and hopefully this is recording. So, it is currently 4:03. I left my garage at 4 o'clock. That's where that essential 10 minutes comes in, and let me tell you about what happened between the time I ended that video and got in my car. So I decided I had a little bit of time, didn't have much to do, I was already pretty much ready to go, so I was going to upload the video and start editing it. That was a mistake because I oftentimes hyper-focus when I'm editing videos, and suddenly I looked up and saw that it was 10 minutes to 4, which, if you remember correctly, that's when I said I needed to leave because God only knows what happens. Well, it happened before I left. So I obviously jumped up, started running around, remembered that I needed to get my sewing machine together because I have to have that serviced, and then ran out to the sewing room to get the sewing machine and realized that it was still torn apart from when I realized that there was something wrong with it. So I had to put it back together, and I felt myself spiraling. And this is where one of the strategies came into use and actually worked. I stopped, and as my friend Jen always says, I used my space. I reflected on what was happening, and I took a step back and said, I'm actually causing myself to not get things done quickly because I'm in a frenzy. I need to calm down. So I did. I calmed down, started thinking a lot clearer, but taking time to have that reflective space was so important. But either way, then I picked up the sewing machine, started to move it, realized I forgot to unplug it, so I had to unplug everything, which the plug was buried underneath some boxes, and so that's a whole other thing. Finally get everything put together, and I'm trying to figure out what I've done with my sewing machine case. Now, any of you who sew understand that these big Janome machines are pretty heavy and pretty big, and I need my case. So then I'm looking for my case. Now, mind you, I'm still looking at the clock, and this has only been 5 minutes at this point, and I'm doing okay. I'm like, okay, I got 5 minutes, I've got this. Stay calm, think, okay, I know where it is. I went and got it, put the sewing machine in. Everything went well with that. So then I went to the bathroom, and I looked at my toenails, and I realized we just got back from camping, and my toenails are atrocious, and I'm going to wear sandals tonight to my meeting. And so, of course, I had a fleeting thought of doing my toenails right at that moment, with now 3 minutes to 4. Anyway, I did grab all my nail stuff because I thought, well, I have 15 minutes between my first meeting and my second meeting. I might have time to at least remove the nail polish, maybe even put some on since it's SE, fast drying, and works pretty fast. So I grabbed that, and then I'm like, well, then now I need a bag because I've got cotton balls and remover and nail polish and my phone and all my things. And so normally I don't carry a purse, so I need a bag. And I'm like, where did I see that bag? I could use that one. It would be perfect. So then I'm off looking for that bag. But remember, I've been looking all over the place for other things, so therefore I can't remember where I saw the bag. Finally find the bag. Which, I mean, all this is going really fast, actually. I should say finally. It was like, 30 seconds later. But that was between me going around the house and everything. Anyway, got the sewing machine out to the car, like ready to go, woohoo! And I get to the car, and I'm doing my strategy where I check everything off. Do I have my phone? Do I have this? Do I have that? What are you forgetting? What do you need to remember? Those things. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh, the checkbook. That's what I'm forgetting. I need the checkbook. So back into the house I go to get the checkbook, and then I give the dog a treat, and I give the cat some treats, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I wanted to get something to drink because I have to bring my own drink to the meeting, of course. And so then I run and grab some drinks. Somehow in all of that time, which was 10 minutes, I went through that whole process and got in my car at 4 o'clock, or actually was backing out the driveway at 4 o'clock. So, building in the extra 10 minutes, using that strategy to help myself calm down, using my strategy to recheck everything to make sure I have it. Those strategies worked. So when I talk about strategies and using strategies, like I said, usually they work, but sometimes they don't. I'll keep you updated though, because I am not done with this adventure. I am still on my way to the park for my first appointment, and hopefully nothing will go awry with my phone. I'll have good reception and everything will come off without a hitch. Yeah, so I'm driving, so I should stop talking, and I will talk to you next time. So that meeting was not, it was a waste of time for both of us, and we realized it pretty quickly. So that actually gave me a couple extra minutes, so I can give you a little update. So as it turns out, I forgot, and I'm removing my nail polish while I talk to you. it turns out that I forgot that my daughter-in-law had taken my car and my car didn't have a charger in it. And I only have 50% on my battery. And so I was like, uh-oh, I have a couple meetings. I hope I don't run out of battery. And so maybe I should stop and pick up a charger. So Dollar General to the rescue, right? So I run in there, I grab a charger, I go up to the checkout. You'd act like I'd never bought a charger before. You can't make this stuff up, you guys, by the way. So I'd act like I'd never bought a charger before. Didn't check to make sure that it was the right one. So got out to my car, realized not the right one. I'm now running really low on time because it's like 4:25 and I have not got time to get to the park at this point because I got to go back in and find another charger and exchange this thing. So I really hope I have time to put a coat and nail polish on this. So I got it exchanged, and as I was driving out of the parking lot, I was getting on my meeting with this other person, and I just basically told him I'm driving, so you're just gonna have to wait a minute until I get to the park. So I got to the park, and yeah, that wasn't productive. It just wasn't good for either of us. So that was fine. That happens sometimes. But now I have extra time so I can tell you what's happening with me. All right, well, I'll let you know how the rest goes. Okay, next day update. I ended up going to my mom's house after the meeting with my sister and my nephew, sewing. Threads were flying. It was amazingly fun. Anyway, so I didn't get home till late. But I did make it to my meeting on time. I had 5 minutes to spare, and it was a good meeting. And I hope that this demonstrated to you, because this is not an unusual trip for me. This is not an unusual event for me, although it is much less usual than it was a year or so ago before I really started working on these strategies. The strategies worked. I just missed that one step, and that one step totally messed me up. But I worked around it, right? And you kept using my strategies to make sure that I was able to still do what I needed to do. This kind of shows you the additional chaos that's happening in an ADHD person's world when they are just trying to live their lives. I did not make anything up. I did not exaggerate anything. This is exactly how it went, and it's not unusual for me. It's a pretty normal way of doing things for me. I'm not sure how many times I said I forgot in those clips, but I forget a lot. So people who say that they, oh, I think I have a little ADHD, or everybody's got a little ADHD. I'm trying to demonstrate that it is a persistent and consistent presence in our lives all the time. Even when it's something as simple as figuring out how you're going to get to your appointments and do it in a way that is effective. So I hope that you got something out of this. If you relate to any of this, if any of this makes you go, oh my gosh, this is me, let me know. And let me know what kind of content you are enjoying from me, what you'd like to see more of, maybe what you'd like to see less of. I just love exposing people to information about ADHD and letting people make their own conclusions. So if you like my content, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.